Welcome to the WangHiro podcast, where we answer Malaysians' burning questions about personal finance with fact-based answers.
What do you plan to do with the bonus that you're receiving this year? We know that if we spend it on a shiny object that has caught our attention, it's not really the best way to spend the bonus. Then what? If you want to contribute to your retirement plan, there must be something better you can do with that pot of money that you just received. Welcome back to WangHiro with me, Louis, and my co-host, John. On this channel, we talk about personal finance and investing for Malaysians. Today, we discuss the best and the worst ways to spend your bonus. So, John, do you remember what you did with the first bonus paycheck you received?
I remember the first one because I paid for my parents to attend my master's convocation.
Oh, okay. It's actually
Yeah.
quite meaningful, yeah.
Yeah. But it was not the full bonus because I only started working in July. So I only got half of the full year bonus because it was 6 months of working only. Actually, it's 5.5 to be precise. 5.5. Yeah.
Wow,
So I
but
only
they
got.
still paid you bonus nonetheless.
Yeah, they still paid bonus.
Oh,
But not much. 1 month.
Oh, 1 month, okay lah, okay, yeah.
1 month. 1 month. Yeah. What about you, Louis?
My first bonus, I only received it after 1 year of working lah. I
Okay.
work with a much smaller company. Also 1 month lah, but I think because the base rate was too low, so it was not significant. I didn't spend it on anything. I just paid some overdue bills with it. It was only like 1,000. I think 2,000 at that time. 2,000 only. So you cannot. There's nothing you can buy with that lah. So I just paid off some bills here and there. Okay, so if we consider I think your spending on the convocation, I mean like your parents to go to your convocation is like a great way to spend it. But there are also like some very bad ways to spend. Do you remember any time that you really regretted on spending on something after you receive your bonus? You really wanted it, you bought it, but then you immediately knew it's a bad idea.
Bad idea. I don't want to sound as if I did everything right in my life, but I can tell you one thing. The problem with me is this: I'm too practical. I'm too practical that even if I want to spend silly money, it's okay. I'll tell you why in context, then you understand, right? Quite recently, probably about 2-3 years ago, a big chunk of my investment pot just vaporized. Okay. And if I look back, that money, if I wanted to buy what I wanted, which was a Volvo XC60, at least it wouldn't vaporize. So the joke was, if I had been frivolous and I bought the car versus that I would like be so kwai and go and invest, right? That money wouldn't have been gone, right? So I'm like, but thinking back, right? Even if I did spend frivolously, it has never been to a point where it was more than 5 figures. It was the most also 1K, 2K. I don't buy, some people, they go and buy sneakers or whatever. I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, to him, it may be the best thing in the world, the best. Some people I know, they can have like literally few hundred sneakers, right? I hardly spend on booze, to be honest. I don't believe in like drinking until kingdom come unless company pays for it. And then even then also, there's only a very few times I got like drunk until I didn't know myself kind of thing. But yeah, I think worst ways I could think of is booze and party. I think that for me, that's the worst.
But definitely, I think if we were to also like think about like one of the qualities of the items that we spend that may not be so good for us in the long term, what kind of like criteria would you put on it, right? So if you think about booze, it's like bad for health, also quite expensive, right?
Yes. And it's fleeting. It only gives you a temporary, temporary enjoyment. And if you want to talk about experience, I rather, if you want to spend frivolously but meaningful, go a good holiday. Go at least Iceland or whatever holiday rather than booze and you spend, let's say, 20K on booze and party in a karaoke. I'd rather you go spend 20K and you go and fly on a holiday. That's even, for me, is even more meaningful. Yeah. So what else do you think? For me, is boost and party is the worst way. Holiday, but holiday to impress people, I think is a bad way also. Okay. And last but not least, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, you go on. Yeah,
and last but not least is probably a new car, but a new car to impress people.
Yeah. I think you took the words out of my mouth. Actually, I was just gonna say like anything that you do to impress people would be like, for me, that was the worst way to spend your money.
Correct.
Like bonus, especially because I know quite a number of people who just buy things after a bonus season just to impress people. Like I know of certain acquaintances that actually is talking about holidays, right? They bought this really expensive holiday package, which cost them like I think 50K for 2 people.
Wow.
They cannot actually afford that, but they took their bonus and then they put it in with some other expenses. We know that they couldn't because later on they struggled and then there are some signs of it lah. Then I was thinking to myself, why would you do that? Why would you spend like 50K on a huge holiday that you actually cannot afford? Then it came down, because they always put their photos on social media.
Right.
So a lot of photos. Then later we see, they're quite struggling. So that kind of thing, it scares me. And then to see that, actually, if you can still afford it, right, that's okay,
no problem.
Right? Yeah, but then later on, you kind of struggle to pay your bills. Then that's already signifying to me, does it really matter that much, to spend it on that kind of thing? Maybe at least it made you happy and not bankrupt you.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So to me, that is one of the worst ways to spend money, something very expensive to impress people who, frankly, if you need money to be impressed by you, I think those are people maybe not so good.
They don't deserve to be your friends, for me. It's as simple as that. Yeah, I'll be very honest. Yeah.
Right?
So
how about like we think about, okay, those are the worst ways, right? Then let's talk about some of the better ways to do it.
Okay.
What are things that you have to, maybe a windfall, not just a bonus? Obviously, you haven't like been in the corporate world for a while, and me too. So like a windfall, what do you think? Okay, you think back and you say, I'm very thankful that I did that. Now I'm financially better off because I did that.
Yeah, I think in the past, after I got past the first bonus, second year, when I was still feeling my way around investments, I actually banked it into the bank for my housing loan, which now I realize it wasn't so smart. It wasn't so smart. Okay. So I would say clearing a debt, because I never had credit card debts. In my whole life, I know, and I shouldn't judge why people have credit card debt, but I've never had credit card debt in my entire life. So whenever I had, it was like to knock off principal for my housing loan, and then I realized it wasn't very smart. And that's the first. Second, I think meaningful way, I spent a lot on courses. I look back, right, and I think I've mentioned this in previous episodes. I've easily spent me few hundred thousand on courses, right? Upgrading myself. 2,000 here, 3,000 there, 5,000 here, 20,000, and it adds up, It adds up, okay? I think the third thing I would say is invest. So I have this rule. When I got to a point where my bonuses, I was getting like 30,000, 40,000 a year, okay? What I'll do is this. I'm not saying you don't enjoy it. Please don't get me wrong. The way I put it is if like I'm a dull guy, I don't go out, whatever. Every year when I was still working in the corporate world, I treated my family for overseas holiday at least once a year. At least once a year. So it will come from my bonus. So what I do is the bonus will come. I make a rule. Half go nuts with a holiday. Half invest, knock off debt, do something meaningful about it. I don't care lah. So I make it a point where I don't even have this money. You get what I mean? The money comes in, it's very tempting to spend, right? So what I'll do is, money comes in, half go spend, half is not there. Invest, put it in something that is very difficult for you to access. I do give bonuses to my parents during Chinese New Year in a way. There's one little thing that my vice lah. I like to buy electronic gadgets, but not to a point where I buy one every day lah. I buy one, let's just say the most latest one. I bought myself an iPhone. I consider that as a treat because I've never paid a phone more than 3,000 ringgit before, so I consider that as a treat. But actually, ironically, it's more of a business tool rather than
Yeah, I think that's half and half lah. Because I find it we use the phone all the same. Like it's just much more convenient with an iPhone these days. Yeah.
Correct. So what about yourself? What do you think are better ways that you would spend your bonus?
Well, I mean, thinking back, when you talk about wow, you can spend on like a overseas holiday. Like with my bonus back then, I don't think so. Like back at a very small company that I worked for, I think 2 months was the most bonus I got, and that was only 4,000 something. Yeah. So and I was shocked to find out that I got one of the highest bonus in my department, because like my colleagues back then, we were all like still very young, and I don't know, they were just asking, oh, how much did you get? How much did you get? So I thought everyone got about 2 months. Then when I told them that I got 2 months, and they were shocked because most of them got half month. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So for back then, I paid off a lot of debt lah. Back then, because like I actually like to invest in those courses, and also I think I shared with audience before in the previous episode. I actually loaned some money from my mom to buy one of the courses for my MIXETI. It costs about 600 a month for me, ringgit.
I see.
So I would pay off like so I would use my mom's credit limit for that back then, because I didn't have a credit card.
Understood.
Starting out working, I didn't have any credit cards. So I borrowed my mom's, and then I paid that off. I used that bonus to pay down debt most of the time. And later on, when I got out from the corporate world and started my own business, every time I got extra money, I usually invest more into my businesses. That's how. So I don't know, because probably it wouldn't apply to most people. So I would usually 80% of my extra money will go into reinvestments in business.
Yes.
Unlike John, I'm not quite a savvy investor. I invest in mostly like my own business. I don't invest in other companies that much, because earlier I tried and I failed, and that's why I'm trying to learn from John as well. So I would put most of my money into investing in my own different businesses, and for me it's worked out quite well financially.
Definitely. I mean, when I was in my previous startup, which some of the audience out there know, and you definitely know, I invested every single extra income we had into the business. And that's propelled. That's why today, in terms of assets, that startup is virtually, you could virtually run a full-fledged studio lah, to be honest. And the equipment is close to 100,000. Put it this way.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, why do you and I believe that is because you see the potential. That's why you have that confidence. You run the business and all that. But again, to the majority of audience out there, if you're having a salary whatsoever, I think the concept to be taken away and to be applied is this. What is your greatest asset? It's actually yourself. So in Louis and myself, because we ran businesses, that asset was a manifestation of ourselves, which is the business. That's why we put in a lot of money in there. And in yourself, I really hope that, if you're listening out there, think of yourself as an asset. A lot of times when you look at a cost, you think of it as an expense. No, it's an asset. It's an intangible asset that you're building. And why we have this episode about bonus and ang pao is because, again, remember the episode that we did last week, Louis, where we talk about assets and liabilities, right? Are you going on a path in your life that you're collecting liabilities, or are you going on a path in your life that's collecting assets? It's all related. You got extra money. In the Chinese world, we say 钱赚钱, literally translated, money make money, right? This is one example lah. Once you have money, if you go and collect liability, it's not money make money, it's money going down the hole. But if you put it into an asset like training, like something for the business, that is where money makes money lah. You see. So I hope you guys don't get us wrong. We enjoy, Louis buys good things for herself. I enjoy myself to holidays, every time I see, because I have kids, right? And I drive to them to school. And my daughter is already now in secondary, right? I'm still driving the same car. And I've seen some parents in the same phase as me, they've changed 3 cars already.
Wow, better and better each time?
Yes,
more
better
and more
better each time.
expensive.
So again, I don't know, maybe their business is going well. So kudos to them, they should enjoy it. But if they're on a salary and they're going to get 6% increment every year, but then they're upgrading their lifestyle to that kind of thing, then you know,
Mm.
something's, you know, you make the judgment call, not for me to judge, you see. I don't know, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't, hey, what's your finances like, whatever, because this is all PNC, right? So again, just a contrast or an angle or a lens for you guys to see. Okay.
Yeah, I think I really like the way you frame it as like ourselves being the asset. In the end, it's regardless of whether you run a business or you're in a job, right? You can always upgrade yourself or like invest in those things that. And I think fitness is also a good place.
Oh yes, fitness. Yes.
Yeah, I think if like a gym membership or something like that would be good. So but when we consider like you have the half and half rule, right, around like bonuses, like extra windfalls, or let's say 20K, 10K, 10K, something like that, right? So it's not hard and fast. How did you come up with that rule? Is this just like a?
It was just because, again, it cannot apply to, let's just say, if you get a bonus of 4,000, then half and half only 2,000, right? So for me, I was lucky. And by the way, I didn't get that kind of bonuses probably until my 7th or 8th year in Shell. Don't get me wrong. It was not like third year I got that kind of bonus. Third year, I probably get about what? 2 months, probably you're talking about 10, somewhere there. So you commensurate lah. So you see, that's where I think you have to be aware that every time you earn more, there's always a tendency for you want to spend more. And that's why I said this half and half rule, is in the sense that it was already a hard cap that if I only earn this much, so sorry lah, suck it up lah. You gotta either work harder or find another income stream or whatever to afford you to have the better lifestyle. Even, you know, the first overseas trip that I paid for myself was actually my honeymoon.
Oh.
And we saved up so much money, Louis, because I was flying frequently, so the air tickets was free. Kuala Lumpur, London, it was free.
Nice.
Okay, so, but we sat in economy class, obviously, me and my wife. Okay, we took a tour. We took a almost like a atas backpackers tour. It was Kontiki, right? It was a European 17 days, right? So it wasn't the 5-tier tour. So we took a tour. So all in, my honeymoon 17 days Europe was only, I think, about 18K or 15K, somewhere there. For two people.
That is so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, because you paid off your tickets with the air miles.
Air miles, and then I took a tour package, and I didn't do DIY. And then we didn't do all those like, oh, you go to Paris, then you eat like 5-star. And then no,
That's
right?
If we translate, if you convert that into pounds, it's only like what? Wow, less than 5,000 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. So and it was how many countries? So we started in London, and then ended up back in London 17 days.
Because I mean, the accommodation alone in Europe, wow, that's notoriously expensive. I've seen like friends book a small little hostel for like 200 euros.
Yes.
Like wow, 200 for a small little hostel, which was like shared bathroom.
Again, boils down to this point, Louis. Have a budget, make it work. You don't go and like, okay, like, I'm going to Europe, I'm going to like spend like crazy. Like even like when I had a family of 4, we went to Japan. That was the last time before COVID. We were actually traveled as a family, 2018, right? All in, air ticket, makan, minum, Disneyland, SeaWorld. As a whole family, we spent less than 20K.
Wow.
So there's ways and means to save one. It's just that you see a lot of times people
for also like tickets as well.
Everything, all in. You know, a lot of people like look at me and say, how do you pandai lah? You spend time to do research, all that kind of thing, lor.
I think the last time I went to Japan, I spent one person 7-8K.
Yeah. So we sometimes brought our own rice cooker, the small one, because the baby cannot eat. At that time, my son was only 2.5, I think. Yeah. So again, the key point I'm trying to make, right, regardless of bonus or whatever, have a budget, have a realistic budget, work with it. You will find ways and means on actually, and then you are happy because you already set, right. So you won't go everything. You question the price, you know. You already set, and then you put a little bit buffer. Then you just spend lah. I give you an example. We bought the Disneyland tickets, one day Disneyland, one day Disney Sea, right? I got it mixed up. I got the the Disney Sea and the Disneyland. I got it mixed up, and it's very far for you to walk. It's like half a right. So I just said, can we swap the tickets? It says can 600 yen to swap the tickets. I said pay lah. It's already part of the there's a little bit of buffer. Just pay, right? For save time. So again, work within a budget. Trust me, you once you are there, right? Then you'll be surprised. Oh, I actually saved money. I budgeted 20K, but I spent 19, right, or something like that.
So like I think like you would say like the half and half only applied for you after you reach a certain income level, right?
Yeah.
So how about like would you say like there are some nuances or maybe caveats to like if let's say we actually have too much debt, we should actually be putting most of that into paying off our debt.
Definitely par down your debt. No, there's two ways. If you are not willing to do things outside your comfort zone, say like building a second stream of income, doing sales, whatever, then you got no choice. Go the savers route, par down your debt. But if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit, go outside your comfort zone, take a little bit of risk, do some sales, whatever, bring in another stream of income, then by all means enjoy. There's no hard and fast rule to say like my rule is correct, 50%. No. As long as you just remember this philosophy in life, build assets, not liabilities. You want to buy the Ferrari, by all means, go ahead, buy the Ferrari. I know it's very tempting, but can you find income streams to support that Ferrari? If you don't, then you're going down the path of liabilities more than assets. I admire people who can buy Ferraris and don't need to worry about it. Even the country goes bankrupt, whatever, because there's income streams as he's getting his Ferrari. No problem. Very happy for them, actually. But where comes the problem is this. The nuance is in the equation where they want to look good, want to spend money, but don't know how to make the money. That is the problem. Don't know how to save. That's the part. Actually, the way I would draw it is this. It's at the top of the hill, okay? But then there's three ways to get there. There's a staircase, there is an escalator, and there's a lift. Most people want to take the lift, but the lift comes at a cost. So that lift, you want to put it in, God, liability. You want to get to the top of the hill, liability. But if you're taking the staircase or you're taking the path, it's free, but you learn along the way and you build that muscle memory to be able to get there and get to the next hill. You fall off this hill, you get off the next hill. Those guys who took on the escalator, took on the lift, they didn't even build the skills to know how to get on the hill, you see.
They cannot climb the next hill, right, John?
Cannot climb the next hill already. That is the problem.
I'm storytelling. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that should be all that we have to share about how to spend your bonus. So basically with prudence, okay. You have to consider where you are financially. Obviously, John always advocates for building that asset, which is yourself first of all. And I think that there's something that you can think about. Okay, maybe upgrading your skills, upgrading it before everything else, before spending on things that are considered liabilities one way or another. All right, so that wraps up today's episode of Personal Finance on WangHiro. So over to you, how much of your bonus do you spend on things that you don't regret, and what was the thing that you spent on that you really regret and wish you still had that money today? Comment below. Like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell for more updates from WangHiro. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you again in our next episode. Bye-bye.